Nancy settles into a hotel room, looking somewhat tense and uncertain about her actions. She takes something to calm her nerves while fixing herself in the mirror. There's a knock on the door after taking a deep breath. She opens it to find a young and attractive man named Leo Grande. The source of her tension, Leo plants a small kiss on her cheek and compliments her alluring perfume. Nancy brushes off the compliment, saying women at 42 don't often receive such praise. Leo assures her they'll have a great time and asks for a drink to get started, raising his glass to those attractive at any age. He takes a sip and comments that it has aged well, implying he's referring to Nancy. As they try to engage in light conversation, Leo's overwhelming handsomeness distracts Nancy, making it hard for her to concentrate. Suddenly, Nancy asks if Leo feels degraded or belittled by her. Leo assures her it's all his choice, he enjoys it and has never felt degraded. He then inquires about Nanae's desires for the night. Nancy just wants to be with him, fearing her age might disappoint Leo. Understanding her tension, Leo gives her a small kiss and reassures her, expressing that the tension is unbearable. Nancy insists they proceed quickly. Leo argues there's no rush and it should be enjoyed, suggesting they talk more. He mentions his skill in surprising people, but Nancy misunderstands this as unusual desires and is disgusted. Leo clarifies that he meant communication skills. Nancy confesses her embarrassment at never having bought anyone before. Leo gently explains he's not bought, he sets a fee for his services, and it's willingly accepted, emphasizing he's not being exploited. However, Nanae's concern about disappointing Leo is still overwhelming, because she's never had an orgasm and believes it's impossible at her age. While Leo is confident Nancy lost her husband 2 years ago and hasn't been with anyone since Leo would be the second. She has no expectations, even offering Leo half the money if he chooses to leave. Leo refuses, thinking she'd be betraying her late husband. Nancy feels she made a big mistake and is conflicted since she used to be an elementary school religious teacher. Leo continues to reassure her, suggesting it's time to go to bed. A sweet kiss on the neck makes Nancy feel better. Suddenly, Nancy stops and says she could bring legal blue pills. Leo doesn't need them. Nancy insists, stating that Leo should not feel obligated to be with someone he dislikes. Leo counters that there's always something to appreciate. Upon discovering that Leo's eldest partner was 82, Nancy feels somewhat reassured and inquires about ways to please him. Leo praises her lips and neckline and attempts to ease her discomfort. Just as he leans in for a kiss, Nancy hastily excuses herself to the restroom to change. Meanwhile, Leo prepares himself, and Nancy's anxiety is palpable. Leo sips a drink and enjoys a chocolate bar while he waits. Eventually, Nancy musters the courage to change. Leo compliments her stunning appearance and moves to kiss her, but Nancy pulls away, complaining about the chocolate's aroma. After Leo freshens up, Nancy decides against proceeding, offers to pay in full, and suggests Leo leave. Leo, realizing the issue isn't the chocolate, persuades her to reconsider, especially considering her prolonged contemplation. And ultimately, she agrees. Nancy queries Leo about his mother's opinion of his profession, which he's reluctant to discuss. When pressed, Leo fabricates a story about working on an oil platform to change the subject, triggering laughter from Nancy. She then becomes more conversational, discussing her children's monotony and the tediousness of her teaching career. Seemingly forgetting their initial purpose in the room, the conversation dulls, and Leo inquires about her husband's actions in similar scenarios. Nancy explains that her husband simply goes to bed naked, and for 31 years their relationship has remained mundane, without any experimentation, ending with him falling into a deep sleep. Leo is taken aback by her revelations and looks at her sympathetically. Nancy has always harbored diverse desires which her husband has stifled, deeming them improper. Tearfully, Nancy reminisces about a vacation in Turai. During her youth there, she encountered a captivating young man, and his touch was the most thrilling experience she had ever had. She had to return home the following day, and the regret of not extending her stay in Turkey has haunted her ever since. Leo passionately kisses her, leading to an unforgettable evening. They reconvene in the same room days later. Leo expresses his delight at having satisfied Nancy previously. Having researched various experiences she's missed out on, Nancy is eager to explore them with Leo, requesting repeats and other unconventional activities. Leo assures her of their feasibility, though her ambition to attempt them all in one day even astonishes him. Leo commits to doing his best, and they proceed to tackle the most daunting item on her list. Nancy wonders if she should brush her teeth beforehand. Leo reassures her it's unnecessary. The phone interrupts them, and after Nancy speaks with her daughter, she returns visibly tense. Leo encourages her to relax and go with the flow, and they dance. Nancy vents about her husband's restrictiveness and finally declares her readiness for new experiences. Leo massages her, and she asks him to remove his shirt. His youthful toned appearance mesmerizes Nancy, but feeling overwhelmed, she requests he cover up. Again, she admits to feeling insecure about her looks, but Leo convinces her of her beauty. He suggests a role-playing scenario, which unexpectedly upsets her. Nancy abruptly demands Leo finish his job. Hurt, Leo shifts from conversational to professional. Nancy breaks down, feeling degraded. Leo gently proposes that his presence might be more for conversation, recognizing that everyone's needs vary. He comforts her, emphasizing his non-judgmental stance towards clients as long as they are respectful. He shares anecdotes about his clients, which embolden Nancy. In their third meeting, where Nancy feels as though she's bathing in warm water, she returns more relaxed and assured. She humorously mimics her interactions with her husband, amusing Leo. Nancy lavishes praise on Leo, grateful for fulfilling her list, and vows to recommend him to her friends. Leo modestly claims he's merely doing his job. Nancy, curious about his real identity and believing it's time they fully know each other, is met with reluctance from Leo, who reveals only that his name is Leo Grande. Nancy shocks him by confessing she's researched his background and knows his true identity. Disappointed, Leo dresses swiftly and admonishes her never to contact him again. Taken aback by his reaction, Nancy realizes she should have respected his boundaries when she accidentally uses his real name. Leo grows infuriated. In retaliation, he warns that uncovering her true identity wouldn't be favorable, especially for a former religious teacher found in a hotel with a young man. Nancy argues that she thought they were building trust and could be friends outside of their arrangements. Leo, disclosing his own traumas and describing himself as a shell of a person for his mother, storms out, but soon returns for his forgotten phone. In his frantic search, he locates it, assures Nancy of a refund for the unused time, leaves a brief farewell kiss, and departs. Nancy, shattered, can only watch him leave. A few days later, Nancy appears on the screen while waiting at the same hotel's cafe. We can see that she is quite nervous from her stern attitude when she tells the hotel staff that she is waiting for a friend. One of the employees, who doesn't initially recognize her, turns out to be her former student. When Nancy says, "I must not have trained you well if you're working here," the girl is shocked. Leo arrives at that moment. The fact that her teacher is meeting such a young and handsome man raises the girl suspicions. However, Leo skillfully manages the crisis, stating that they are meeting to buy Nancy's car. Despite the events in the last session, Leo had agreed to meet Nancy just to talk. Nancy talks about the vitality she feels from experiencing everything she could in when she was young in the past month. She also reveals that she recommends Leo Grande, the master of menopause, to all her friends, and that his real name is Susan Robinson. Leo, on the other hand, confesses that he finally told his brother the truth about his job, and while his brother didn't judge him, it remains a disappointment for their mother. When Leo was 15, his mother caught him in an unexpected situation with some friends, and since that moment, she has never viewed Leo the same way. Time has not mended this rift. Becky brings the check, and Nancy apologizes for previously calling her and other girls inappropriate names, admitting that they had frequent interactions with Leo. She even hints at Leo's impressive skills, suggesting he spend time with Becky as well. Becky, astonished, listens to her former teacher and then joins Nancy and Leo in the room. They spend a long night together, fulfilling a list of experiences Nancy had always desired. At the end of the night, Nancy feels truly fulfilled for the first time in her life. This marks their final encounter, and they bid each other farewell, wishing one another well. Nancy gazes into the mirror, lost in deep, soothing thoughts. And so we reach the end of this story.